Okay. Thank you so much for the raid there, Callie. Hope you enjoyed your stream. Hello, James. How are you today? And welcome. Hi, Mel. Welcome to Taking a Springpeek, where we talk about our own D&D campaign, Kingdom of Springkeep. We have everybody's favorite stealthy elf, Matt playing Zintris, and everyone's favorite boy, Jericho, as Lore. The stealthy elfie. Stealthy elfie takes a selfie. So, I think we need to get off on a very serious question. Modern alternate universe coffee shop, is your character the coffee shop barista or the owner of the bookstore that just moved in?
Neither. The pesky like writer who keeps coming in and stays there for way too late that they just can't get rid of, and eventually just start kind of bringing coffee. Hopefully that he leaves.
That's fair. I could see that.
Yeah. Maybe if they give him free coffee, he'll just go away. He doesn't.
I mean, yeah, free coffee is always good. Matt, would Zin be the barista, the bookshop owner, or someone entirely different?
Probably the barista.
Barista? I could see that. I can definitely see Zin working as a barista. Absolutely. Okay. Well, that aside, should probably have our actual real question. I want to know what inspired your characters. I know we kind of talked in depth when we did the character creation, but like that was after the fact when you tell me your ideas. I want to know. Let's start with you, Matt. What inspired Zin?
Not a whole lot. I just kind of wanted a rogue character, and I figured an elf might be a good way to go with that.
That's fair. I mean, when we played before, you were a paladin, so this is actually kind of a not a super like big change since you're still more combat oriented rather than magic based.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I definitely think it's interesting, and you've done a really good job of trying to although your shooting hasn't been super great, you at least have been like really useful on the rogue side of things with like the breaking and entering stuff.
Much more useful than Matthias ever was.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say like way more useful.
Definitely quieter.
Definitely quieter, that's true. You're not trying to... Now Velky has that problem of trying to sneak in heavy armor. So yeah, no. Zin has been really good at that. Is there a particular reason for the white hair?
Kind of what I went with. I think for the thing, I was able to like just randomly pick the pictures, and I think this is close to one that I had settled on. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe I just kind of went to a pit crew and just played around until I found something I liked.
Pit crews are honestly really good for stuff like that, because it's hard to like really visualize just in your head. It's very I'm very visually based. I need to really see what I'm looking at to get a good sense, which is why like
that's right, because I did the pit crew first. That's what it was.
Yeah. You may notice that I don't overly describe a lot of NPCs, and that's mostly because they don't really have a canonical form in my head. I just kind of like, there'll be some slight descriptions, like Tot has he's like a really rotund man who is very like chipper and stuff, and I just imagine him kind of with a bit of a rosy face. But like otherwise I kind of am okay with people picturing everyone as they see it, because I feel like that helps keep everyone more immersed, unless I really feel like we need to get a good visual. Imagine having a character that works on a pit crew. Yes, speaking of which, where that would be a lot more difficult. Hey Jericho, what inspired Lore, your ferret boy?
Oh boy. Well, honestly, nothing also. I kind of just wanted to play a bard because I've been wanting to play a bard for like literally ever. And then I don't know, when you guys, like you and Mel, kind of invited me in, the first thing that you said before even describing any of the world, you guys were both like, "Hey, you should play D&D with us. You can't be an elf." That was the first thing you guys told me. So
Yeah,
That's because I already have that issue.
well, I don't think
I
it's...
usually play elves, so I know they both knew it, but I wasn't even gonna play one. Okay.
I mean, so the elf thing in my campaign, it hasn't come up a ton, at least not, I think, since the first few sessions. Matt, you had created Zin before I think I mentioned the elf thing. But,
yeah, because like I had two like pre-made characters that I just kind of pulled from.
Yeah, so like in Springkeep, I've talked about this I think with everyone, almost everyone in depth, where because the country or the kingdom is entirely separated from the world, the population is very self-contained. There's a lot of half-elves due to stuff like that, but like actual like pure elf bloodlines, there wasn't a lot of elves to begin with when the barrier was created, so they've kind of had to really keep to themselves, not as any like superiority complex or anything, but just because it's like they don't want to see pure elves vanish, which could be very easy to happen considering it's been thousands of years. Not so much as difficult for like tieflings, because tiefling bloodline seems to be very prominent.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of tieflings.
You don't see like half tieflings or like half other things often. That would actually be interesting. Have like a half dwarf. How tall would they be? Half dwarf, half elf. Let's get some Lord of the Rings slash in here.
I think half dwarf. I think it middle ranges the height. I think they just become like regular sized person, maybe on the short side. I don't know. That's what I always assumed. You know.
Thank you, Mel. That's a good reference. You're right. I should ask Galio. Next time I'm speaking with Rose, I'll make sure to bring him up. But yeah, I know that Mel had a question there, and this can kind of play in now that things have been done in. You guys have been playing the character for a little while. Is there any outside media that inspired either Zin or Lore? Music, plays, shows?
Music. So much music.
I can see that considering you're a bard. That makes sense.
Okay, that, honestly, I had a whole ass playlist before I had even created Lore. It was just inspiration for a character that I could possibly have. And I didn't, like, if you go on my playlist, sometimes to this day I still have to fix it up and clean it because I've changed Lore so much from the, like, character that I had for the playlist. But yeah, music is more important than actual backstory.
Okay, so like,
Or any thought.
if there was one song you'd have to say like really embodies Lore, and you can take some time to think about this one if you like,
Oh boy.
or if you have at least one that kind of stands out.
Oh geez. I don't even know that a song that actually stands out specifically, to be honest. I maybe come back to that. He's got a whole playlist.
Sure, if you
There's an
want to,
entire playlist.
if you want to start scrolling through that one. Yeah, actually, that brings up something. You said, Matt, that you wanted to play a rogue. What kind of drew you towards rogue as opposed to say like fighter or ranger or barbarian?
Well, fighter and barbarian would kind of be similar to how I'd play a paladin, just probably different personality.
Okay, yeah.
Plus, rogue could be a little more chaotic, lot more stealthy.
So you're saying chaotic. You're saying chaotic.
Yeah.
Were you anticipating the chaos that would ensue with some of our other characters when you first had Zin in mind?
No.
Because I feel like of the party, Zin is the most down to earth.
Zin just, I don't know, he tries to sneak around. He's not trying to show
You're right.
Show off.
Yeah. And it's very easy to do that when you have a big rock man, an actual cleric just following around, Kashana being Kashana, and a ferret. Even more so when you had a Kenku with you. Like, man, Zin actually kind of just even existing within this group just kind of blends in as they get into their antics. It worked out great for you. Wow, Kashana just being Kashana. I'm sorry, Callie. Kashana is a fireball. Can't cast it, I don't think. Wait,
Yeah.
can warlocks learn fireball? I don't think so. I think lore can, because I think bards can get any magic from any class.
I think so, actually. I have no idea. I'm learning Bard by the seat of my pants, okay?
That's fair. I mean, I am whoops, wrong button. I am definitely learning how to DM by the seat of my pants. This is my first time like doing actual DMing, that's for sure. According to Rose, who was our not lore master, because that's you, Jericho, but rules master, Rose is saying warlocks cannot learn fireball, but warlocks can cause rock slides, as we learned.
Jericho especially.
Yeah. Like, I know that all too well.
This warlock. Oh, so other warlocks maybe can. Okay. Well, we're lucky. We're lucky because, man, Kashana, you're great. I love you so much.
I mean, it's not like she couldn't use it or anything. Would have been real helpful.
Shatter. Oh, man. Did you find a song there, Jay?
I'm still looking. I keep getting distracted.
That's fair. I'll answer one. for myself. This was a question from Mel. So Delphi, huh? Yes, Delphi. So, Delphi's an interesting NPC. I was not expecting Delphi to last as long as he did in this story. He was mostly just a crutch to introduce the Void Walkers, and to kind of give a nice little way for the party to come together. I kind of expected everyone to forget about him or not bother stopping him from joining the gang. However, we had other things in mind, apparently, that involved adoption and bringing him back. And he's still there, happy. I can confirm, because I remember Callie being upset that something might happen to them. But no, Delphi is fine. I can confirm Delphi is A-okay as of right now in the story.
Never underestimate the player's power to derail.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I've been trying to learn how to get around. There's actually still a lot more to Delphi. I keep forgetting. Zin got Delphi's diary. Did he ever relinquish what was in it?
I think to Velky at the very least, maybe Anates.
Mel is saying no. Velky says no.
I don't think that he did, just based off of, like, listening through.
I swear I shared it with at least Velky, because of the whole drunk father and
I think you actually talked more to Delphi about it by being, like, you understand where he's coming from. You might have also slightly mentioned things, but I don't think you went into detail about what Delphi had been through. It was mostly hinted at. I think we kind of set up more for things to be done with Delphi, but now he's kind of got happily ever aftered for now.
Okay, well, my intention was to have shared the journal with at least Velky.
There's always more time.
I still have the text document about it.
Good, because I don't think I do. I know what was in that doc. I know what was in his journal. I know for a fact what was in the journal. However, I did not save it.
I'm pretty sure I messaged it to you on Discord at one point.
You did. You did do that. Remember. I wonder if I pinned it. Probably did not. Oh well. I know it was in there. I do still have other plans. Like, there was more for Delphi, and like, if you guys go down that route, we can totally jump into more Delphi. Yeah, I just really wanted a little character to unite the party and to introduce the very prominent, I guess I can't really call them antagonists anymore, can I? Because you guys have kind of struck a deal. Yeah.
I suppose it's the perk of just being able to go back and see Delphi and stuff, hang out with him.
And Keku.
Keku! I miss Keku.
Did you say Lore has Keku's feather in his hair?
Yeah, he always does. I have to update my little profile picky, but yeah, he literally has. He just like braids it into his hair a little bit.
Deal is a strong word, yeah. No, I really like that you integrated the feather. That's really cute. I feel like that was such a powerful scene for the party.
It was good.
Yeah.
I miss Keku. Genuinely.
Yeah, you didn't have a lot of time with her. No, you didn't.
No. I like Kashana though too. I adore Kashana actually.
Yes. So I think everyone's got this on their mind. Will Zintris ever commit mail fraud?
No, I'm not planning on it.
You're not. Okay, so that leads me to this question. So, is there a reason why, because he's a rogue, he's been on the streets, is he a very honorable person though?
Kinda, yeah. The biggest reason is I don't trust my dice to put me in a good position if I try to put it back together.
That's, you know what, that is fair. I know I have made a lot of decisions in role playing based on whether I think the dice will go in my favor. However, you can totally frame that as a character trait. He was given this job and was told don't open it, so he feels like he shouldn't, right?
Yeah, we have enough people hunting us as it is.
As a DM, I'll be a little sad because I worked really hard on that letter. However, I spent 2 weeks writing it, sir. But no, I feel it's just as interesting for Zin to open it as it is for Zin not to. So the fact that you have done the not open it path leads to other things. Because you're right. If you deliver that letter and you don't put it together properly and they know you did that, well, there's a new thing. However, delivering it intact with no issues, that's also a new path. Yeah. Zin was all for the plan to break into the Lord's house in Risen when it was brought upon you. Do you feel like Zin has done a lot of B&Es?
Maybe? Like, he definitely wants to try to put higher-ups more lower. I don't know if that made sense.
No, it does. I actually was kind of curious because you had mentioned to Velki and Onates that in your line of work it's hard to trust people. Does Zin not trust them at all to talk about his past?
No, but he's more really just trying to leave the past behind.
Okay, so like even his roguish past, he's trying to not really be involved with that with this group?
Well, no, like the roguish past, it's like you don't really make too many friends without expecting a backstab.
Fair. But his past you kind of want to leave behind entirely.
Yeah.
Though I did notice...
His family past,
I did notice that whenever the nobility are brought up, he does seem to try to use it.
Use what you got.
Fair. So Zin is
mostly trying to use the knowledge he accumulated growing up.
Really resourceful. That's interesting, though. Especially if you run into more nobility and stuff. Because eventually you'll probably run into someone who recognizes you. Not yet. Well, I mean, you really sidestepped one person recognizing you.
Was that near the beginning, or?
No, with the Voidwalkers.
Oh.
Where, oh man, his name is suddenly escaping me. This is terrible. His last name doesn't, Dynater. Theomagnus, that was it. Theomagnus. He recognized you slightly, but you managed to deception check through on... No, you don't. Actually, I don't even think he deception checked. I think he just blew that off and was like, okay, I didn't. Okay.
I think he had more important things going on at the time.
I feel like that answered this question on him being a reserved individual, if that had to do with his upbringing or his rogue's interests. Did you find one there, Jer?
I did.
Okay, what song you got?
Okay, so I've decided on kind of two, and they're just sort of the two songs that I kind of, like, immediately put into this playlist when I first made, like, when I had Lore's actual backstory and was making, like, this character. Not that the other character that I had was not this character, but he's changed. Anyways, okay. So, the two songs that I have that are off the top of my head are Mama Always Told Me by Cecile Corbell. Love her. She does the Arietti music.
Oh.
And yeah, it's so good. And Did Don't Do by Don't and Cosmos Sheldrake. Ooh. I don't know why I slurred that.
You're gonna have to share those in the chat.
Okay.
Not in this chat, like in our Springkeep chat. When you have time. And that leads us very nicely into this. Is there a song, real life or equivalent, that would be Lore's favorite to play?
Ooh, okay, I was thinking about this because I seen this on the little documentary. Lots. Okay, okay. I've always wanted to play violin ever since I was really little. Like even when I was really, really little, I asked my parents for a violin, and I was like a baby, and my parents were literally like, "What the fuck? How does this baby know what a violin even is?" And since then, I've been listening to lots of like Ashley McIsaac, and that's kind of the music that I sort of imagine that Lore would like to play, like specifically from the Hi How Are You album, which I know nobody knows who that is, because why would anybody know what that was? But yeah, that, and also I just listen to lots of covers of like violin versions of music, so probably like Violin Kesha.
Violin Kesha, that's interesting. Also, thank you, Overlord Karma, for the follow there. Welcome to the Aurora. We are talking about our Kingdom of Springkeep D&D game. Violin Kesha, I want to hear some of that now, actually. That sounds very interesting.
That I can send you easy peasy.
Oh, nice. I'm going to have to listen to that. So I wanted to first share this. We're going to cut quickly because partway through the campaign, I say as if we're done the campaign, we added in a credit sequence. So we're just going to let that play here really quick, and then we can talk about it.
Show all my friends. It
Yeah.
deserves to be shown.
Mel's art deserves to be shown to everyone. I'm glad we could watch it here.
Literally everybody deserves to see Mel's art.
Yeah. I think those were all extremely really good portraits, and I'm curious what you guys think of the whole credit sequence in particular, because I did that all in one night in a fever. Not like having a fever, but like in a crazed stupor. I was just like, I gotta get this done. It's in my head. It must be out there.
First version or that version?
First version. This version with Kashan and stuff obviously is a little more recent. So, but yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on the ending?
It's good.
Very good.
It's very good.
I do hope to change out characters' portraits as I feel it is necessary.
I think that could be really neat too, especially if characters kind of like change a little bit throughout and stuff, you know.
I do also like the most recent. I don't know if Mel means like the group picture one or the one with the Captain Strizel. Zin is a very interesting character I have in the portraits. The feature of him. Oh, okay. Yeah, the one with Strizel. I was trying to use that one. However, he felt a lot smaller since it was a horizontal piece. So I couldn't use that one. I wanted everyone to be at similar sizes. Actually, I could maybe try it again to make it work. Because I do feel like it's a lot more true to Zin than the map one. Yeah. Listen, Mel, I was doing this at 1 in the morning. I'll go back and try again. We have a little while before the next camp session. So we'll see what I can do. Yeah, I'm glad everyone liked it. I was really worried and scared that it was gonna flop, but no, I'm glad it came off really well. Let's go to. We did a lot of Matt there.
That's okay.
I want another Jericho one though, because this is one that I. Yes, you can plug Mel, of course. Let me see. No, I don't. Really? I didn't keep that? Nope, I didn't. My apologies. I thought I kept that thing. I had a link to you and everything. Well, I gotta fix that for sure. Anyway, my apologies. Jericho, you earlier mentioned listening to the sessions.
Yee.
Since you did start as a listener, even though we kind of knew you were going to be coming in eventually, how does it feel to now be a part of the campaign instead of just listening to it?
I love it. It's so great. I love listening to everybody and like all of their dynamics and stuff, and it's like really interesting to see how much the characters have like changed since the beginning. Just because I got to like listen to it, and then like I sped run listened to it kind of before I joined. So it was really interesting to see just how the characters have come so far, and I was really excited to join, and I'm glad that I'm here now.
I think we're all glad to have you here.
Hope so.
I feel like Lore brings some, I don't know, wonder to the group. Their curious nature definitely. I mean,
Sanity?
chaos. Yeah, chaos and stuff. I feel like Lore tries to brighten a lot of situations.
He doesn't mean to get into chaos for what it's worth, though he definitely enjoys it.
And that chaos kind of brought him some pain last session.
Yeah.
How does Lore feel about almost entirely losing a foot?
Not very happy, that's for sure. I feel like, I don't know if this is too backstory, but like I know he's definitely he definitely witnessed his parents go through a similar like pain with this like the idea of like fucking up their limbs and shit. So he does not like that one bit.
No, I can't imagine. And he turned out fine in the end, with the thanks of random cleric and Kashana. But yeah, is he a little discouraged about their excursions after having such a painful accident?
No, because that means he'd have to learn his lesson. Which he did not.
That's fair. I mean, would anything be able to bring him down? Mentally, not physically, because we've seen the physical aspect of it is very possible.
I don't know, maybe. It's hard to say actually, because I feel like the more discouraged it would just be kind of like he's got to keep going. I don't know. I feel like they're very like they got to keep going, you know? But I feel like probably not.
I mean, Lore has talked a little bit about why he's out on his journey. I don't feel like he's really gone in deep on what's driving him with the rest of them. Is he kind of trying to keep something secret, or is it mostly just it hasn't really come up, so he's not really going to go out there and be like, here's why I'm here?
I feel like it's probably a combination, a little bit of both, because he definitely still has things, like he still super has secrets and stuff, and he's not 100% trusting who doesn't 100% trust everybody. Like, he's not just going to tell everybody his whole thing, but part of him also just kind of doesn't know what he's doing himself. He knows it's stuff that he's supposed to be doing, and so therefore he's got to do it, and he's hoping to kind of get answers as they go.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes there's an opportunity given to you, and you kind of have to take it and find where it leads.
He knows what he's supposed to be doing, and so therefore he should be doing it. Whether it's the right thing or whether he's questioned it this far yet, debatable, but... Yeah.
Relatively speaking, his journey has been short so far.
That is very true.
Yeah, he hasn't gone on a lot of adventures with this group just yet. Kind of on his second, in general. Yeah. If we consider the Voidwalker thing his first journey.
Yeah, and he was just kind of strung along for that. It was good though. That's not a bad thing.
Does seem to hello fellow criminals. Yes, it's Lore is adorable. I don't know. Is that how much of that is you trying your best to role play versus Lore's personality?
A lot of that actually is Lore's personality. I know I've talked with Mal about this. He has kind of to him, it's very defined as to what good and evil is, and so he doesn't want to be bad. And so, I don't know, that's what he very frequently says. He does not want to be a criminal, and it's because defining like good and bad is so hard, where like a criminal most of the time but usually is like bad, and so therefore he's kind of so lots of that actually is his personality. I don't know if that kind of went off on a tangent. We got off track.
I think that kind of played out really well. So then how is his feelings about the dealings with the Voidwalkers, the kind of truce? He doesn't really know much about the Voidwalkers in general.
He doesn't. That's kind of what I meant when he was kind of strung along. He doesn't know enough about them. He knows that they are criminals, so therefore he's probably not great, but also based on what he knows about Anates, he does believe that it's probably for the best.
And then we have our actual criminal over here, Zin.
Yeah.
Our actual for real criminal of the party. I mean, your first job as a criminal is just delivering a letter. Not too crazy.
I mean, I broke into a house before this.
Your second job is delivering a letter.
And then I tried to pickpocket a bugbear.
Yeah, that didn't go well. But I gave you the heads up that wasn't going to go well because I needed to shoehorn in some characters.
Yeah.
I needed to be like, I need to prompt you guys to meet. I'm going to do a thing that might not be great, but hey, your lie is going to go forward, and you decided you fell into his pockets. No, that's funny.
I got bumped into him.
No, I think it was fair. It was very funny. I feel like it set a good precedent of Zin, because it really tells you that even though he's capable of doing this, he hasn't been doing it for a very long time relative to his age. Wait, how old is he again?
40?
Oh. Looking good. But that's elf story.
I mean, he is an elf.
Yeah. Question for Zin directly. Zin seems to have a tendency to sit back and watch a lot of the drama that unfolds in this party. From his perspective as an observer, is there any advice he would offer the rest of the party? Secondly, what does he think of them in general? Because he doesn't really... He doesn't get into any fights with anyone in the group. So, like, as someone who is currently watching the current fights that are happening, does he have any advice for them to either one way or the other?
Probably just talk more openly. Like, everyone seems to hide something from each other. It's like, if I had known that, I would not have done this.
That's fair. I mean, you did also earlier say that he's trying to kind of leave his past in the past and not really talk about it. So, like, everybody, even Zin himself is hiding things. Though I guess up to this point, his hiding of things has not resulted in heartbreak, I think is a good way to put it.
Destruction, chaos. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet. I mean, who knows? Who knows where that's going to lead? I think heartbreak is a good one, because Velky definitely feels pretty heartbroken at the moment, I believe. But they always say that the night is darkest before the dawn. So maybe this will turn out to be good. Like Lore trying to explain silver linings.
The worst way possible.
That was what you were going for, though, correct? With the whole sometimes bad things can lead to good things?
Yeah, it was.
I thought so. I thought so. That was very interesting, though. It is very hard as the DM to sit back and just listen to characters sometimes poorly explain themselves. Because it's like, no, I understand, but I'm just here to narrate.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's good though.
It is. I feel like Lore is a bard. Lore is a storyteller. But when it comes to explaining himself, he kind of struggles a bit. Or at least
Yeah.
his thoughts on things.
Yeah, they kind of fall over themselves a little bit when it comes to explaining stuff. That's okay though.
I wanted to get that second part of the question there in Zin. What does he think of the party members in general? What is his thoughts on each of them?
Well, let's see. He likes Anates. He's because seems to have a set goal and is fighting against people who should not be in power.
Right.
Likes Velky. Just because Velky's pretty helpful. Overall, I think he just kind of likes the whole party. It's like Lore brings some levity. Kashana brings a bit of excitement.
She does do that. I feel like in a different scenario, Zin and Kashana could be interesting partners. Just with the ability to apparently break into things. You're both have both having Misty Step is super useful to like sneak around.
Yeah. Plus the common factor with Captain Strizel.
Yeah. You have a good in. You both could work really well together. Speaking of Kashana, though, Lore, you suddenly heard Kashana's voice in your head.
Yeah.
She did mention being a Kalashtar, so that's nothing unusual. However, what was that like to suddenly have another voice in there?
Freaked them out.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, even like the context of when that happened, it was just like kind of wigged out.
It was a very stressful moment to begin with.
Yeah. I don't know. For what it's worth, he trusts Kashana probably the most, so I don't know. I feel like he was spooked, but it's Kashana, so it's alright. Probably.
It's Kashana, so it's alright. That's fair. I mean, you both are very close. It seems... I don't know if that's just because you're both the new people in the group, or maybe there's something
That's how
more.
it started, but now they're just dynamic duo.
They are. They're always on
The
their little
worst.
ventures.
The best of the worst, unclear.
The fireworks, going for armor and flowers together.
Sometimes it turns out well, sometimes it doesn't, you know? Sometimes they go to the library together and it's good. But is it really good? Debatable.
The books might not think so.
So, the books in general being the church ones, what are Zin's and Lore's thoughts on the embrace of Shatir? Do you feel they were people who kind of actually worshipped in the past, or have they kind of just felt like it existed but not really for them, the religion in general?
First, kind of that second one, the existed not for them, but now that things have been kind of going south, he definitely thinks something is up with them.
Fair. That is very fair. Lore doesn't really know much about that aside from these misgivings they have about courage.
Yeah. I think Laura's stance on it is probably similar where I don't know, it's not for them, but who knows? It seems pretty sus now, so
Well, thankfully there's other religions, such as whatever Onates has going on.
whatever on the days is going on.
You want to stare at the stars for a bit? Actually, I would. I would absolutely. You know what? Onates has the right idea. Let's go stare at the stars at night for a while.
I already do that. 10,
Yeah.
10, recommend. Anataste knows what's up.
Yeah. Hopefully there's no like swirling stars though. That'd be hard. I want to talk. We went on about it a little earlier. Let's talk about Mel's art some more.
Mel's art.
This week's banner. Make it a little bigger. Cover up us entirely. Yeah. Yeah, just cover us up entirely. That way no one knows who's talking. Yeah, this week's banner, nice little group picture. Had a good.
So pretty.
It is so pretty. I love the background. It reminds me actually of the ending background I use for the credits. Very very bright and colorful. You're not here, Mel, but we need to talk about the banner.
Is everyone standing in that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, Matt. Everybody is standing. That is the heights for everyone.
I just had to. I couldn't tell if Velky was standing or sitting.
No, Velky is.
Velky is the shortest, I think.
Velky is 5'2", but when you pair that up against people who are super tall, it makes it look worse. Like, generally speaking, Velky is not like super short compared to like average heights. But yeah, no. Velky and Lore are on the shorter side, and then you have super tall Kashana, Anatace, and Zin. Listen, well, I mean, Mel, on the average side, you have a world filled with halflings and dwarfs who are canonically much shorter. So, I mean, out and about, like, Velky's not, like, super short. Yeah, D&D average. D&D average, he's not, like, super short. Like, Sprig was a teenage halfling. Like, so she was still growing yet. Sprig.
Sprig was the one we encountered in
Haywood.
The Destroyed. Yeah.
Yeah, in Haywood. Fun fact about that, Haywood is, of course, named after my other D&D character, Quill Haywood. And I decided to go with Sprig as a little homage to another kind of foresty natured name like Quill. Yeah.
Love that.
Which brings into the question that was left for me. Who is my favorite NPC to play so far? Honestly, it was a lot of fun to play the Snooty Noble in the last session. I kind of feel like my next D&D character, I gotta kind of play a bit of an asshole. Because it's a lot of fun to play something like that. However, I think if I had a quote-unquote favorite NPC to play thus far, I think it's actually been Scrya. I feel like Scrya has been a nice crutch to stand on as someone we can keep going back to that has some strong character traits that I get to bring out a bit more. As I said earlier, my NPC ideas are mostly name and some slight character description, but I don't really overly develop them because you never know what's going to happen or what the party's going to do with them. So having Scrya come back a couple of times, get to roleplay her a lot, has made it a lot of fun to do. Not that like other characters aren't fun. Like we're going to meet Tot again and he's fun. Edwin was great. And honestly, just about any person from Risen is really fun to do. But I think like if I was going to say like this NPC is my favorite to play, it is definitely Scrya. That said, please go back to that bookstore. Because Elf that's just kind of like, yeah, I'm doing this, is really interesting. Risen in general, though, was very interesting because I was not expecting to go in with Southern accents, and it just happened. And I don't know if it actually works out.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
Places of the South.
I mean, like, for characters like Lore and Velky and even Kashana, who do have very distinct accents, I don't know how you three manage to jump into that as quickly as you do. Every time we get to Risen, I freak out because I remember I need to somehow pull this accent out.
You say, but literally Lore's accent has changed every single episode, and that's not on purpose.
We'll see. It's
Yeah,
really
no,
easy.
I can't.
I am really bad at accents. I didn't
I
even know.
can't keep Zin straight.
Lore had a different accent planned for this, but then immediately started playing, and it was that, and I was like, well,
Oh, really? What kind of accent were you going for?
okay, well, I can't do it anymore because I had practiced, and then I just lost it all when I started. But he was actually supposed to be Welsh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Thank you for not doing that.
yeah, I can't do it anymore.
Mostly for my sake when we meet the parents. And yes, Mel, I know that the accent is actually your accent, so it's easy for you to do, but I still don't understand how you just jump into it.
Yeah, Mal, you're technically cheating.
But yeah, no, accents are always fun, especially in a fantasy setting where it's like the Welsh don't exist, the British don't exist. And you get to fun things where it's like, describe hairstyles. Well, they wouldn't have a French braid because French isn't a thing. It's kind of like in Critical Role how Ivanka has a French accent. Where did that come from?
Maybe it's like a different place, you know? Maybe it's like French bread, you know? It's named after the bread.
Yeah, it's named after the bread. That would make sense.
Yeah.
So, we have to be wrapping up here in a little bit.
You call it a knock braid.
You're right. There's other words for it. For you both on this one, is there anything you would change about your character now that you have played them?
I actually don't know how to answer this because probably not. I don't know. I'm pretty happy with how this stupid idiot has turned out so far.
Yeah,
I just love them a whole lot.
I mean, it's totally fair to be like, no, this has been great. You wouldn't want to change it. I really enjoy everyone.
I like Zin the way he is.
Yeah, I like Lore how they are.
Good. I mean, at the end of the day, that's great because it also means that you're letting them develop as it comes. Because, like, if you're just like, no, this is the one thing they are and they never change, then that's not really a great story to tell. We'll see how that continues to go. Do either of you have any questions? No? That's fair.
I'm okay. Sorry, I like literally opened my mouth and no words came out. I'm okay.
You're okay? That's
Sometimes it happens when I'm trying to think of an answer and then I'm just like, oh shit, I don't know what's happening.
Only my mouth will open on this stream, though. Oh.
It'd be horrifying if...
That's the secret. Michael's actually a ventriloquist.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
What do you guys think of the character portraits lighting up?
That's
I love
neat.
it. I think that's so neat. Yeah.
I did set it up. I can actually jump over there quick.
I was about to ask if you could do it for the actual sessions now.
Yep. Absolutely. It's not as noticeable since you guys aren't as big, but it's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, because
So then does everyone have their own... Oh, that's what you were asking about the colors for.
Yeah. And that's why I need everybody's colors. So, Zin is red because, I'm sorry, I tried to change the things to white, but it was really hard to get it to stay glowing.
Fair.
Same with black, just really hard to get those to stay glowing.
I mean, with black, you could always go the Power Rangers method and make it kind of a purple.
Yeah, but we have Velky who's purple.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, I figured out how to do that, and it was really neat. I just wanted a very nice... He is violet. I'm sorry, Mel. It is a different color, I know. Well, actually, no. He is blue.
That face is blue.
Yeah, no, because I was thinking about when we had our last session, because one person, I think Zeticus, needed to know who everybody was, and it occurred to me that nobody that doesn't know who y'all are would know your voices. So, like, I understand who's speaking, but any viewer wouldn't. And it doesn't help if someone's just listening and not watching, but I thought it would be really cool if people's icon, like portraits, lit up so that when someone's speaking they know who it is.
None of us are as technically savvy enough to pull off the Critical Role's 5 webcams going.
Yeah, and I'm sure that no one, like, I'm pretty sure our entire party does not want to be on webcam.
No, you guys would see how much I talk with my hands and
That would
just like
actually,
make faces.
that actually might make it easier though, because every now and then you try to emote when you're role playing, and so like actually seeing the hands and stuff would probably help a little bit.
Perhaps. I don't know. I don't know. People have to speak to me in real life to know what you're talking about, where sometimes I just literally like throw hands, throw gang signs almost. It's not even like actual emote. It's more just like I take up a lot of space. Yeah, I just behave.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to be on webcam because what I like to do when y'all really get into a deep conversation is I literally lean back and just kind of vibe and listen.
Yeah, I kind of do that too. My problem is I'm so tired from work, I'm falling asleep.
It's unfortunate for your
I
schedule.
I apologize when I do fall asleep. It's not on purpose. It's not that I'm bored
late.
or anything. I'm just tired by like the last hour of the session.
Yeah, like because you work early in the morning and then you have to work early the next morning, so it's very rough for you. I'm just glad that we're all in the same time zone. Because like, man, this would be rough if we weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like listening. My favorite parts are when the characters get to interact and do stuff, and I can just kind of let it happen. Because my favorite parts of D&D are the stories the characters make themselves and their interactions. As much as I love all the fun world aspects and characters you meet along the way, I'm a fan as much of the players as I am of like the game itself. It wouldn't be what it is without you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all need to come together for this story.
And when the borders open, we can all come together physically once for a game.
Imagine not liking your players. Yeah, actually, doing a physical game would be really neat. I would have to get a new camera for that.
It's so fun.
I mean,
I haven't played physical D&D in so long.
It doesn't have to be a streamed game. Like, we could do a one-shot or something.
And I do want to do one-shots as well. I know we aren't doing a game next week. We're going to do another Springpeek, but I also want to sprinkle in one-shots when it's possible. So I think maybe figuring some stuff out for that when campaign games can't happen for like smaller groups. Whether it's in setting like with different characters like in the same world or just entirely different games. I want
to keep guiding.
Yeah, both of those sound dope though.
Yeah, like have like a small mini session of some people like up in the mountains in Skydusk or trying to travel across the desert of Automid.
Yeah. Tater and Tot's adventure scouting for potatoes.
Oh, I could totally see Tater and Tot like being like Boy Scout guides or whatever they're called.
Oh my gosh.
A scout leader?
Yeah, scout leader. I could see them being scout leaders. And yeah, you're right. They would always have potatoes with them. Just always. That's mostly Tot's thing. Tater goes along with it. And then because Tater's name is what it is, yeah. Well, I think that's all the time we have for today. This was a lot of fun. I was a little worried about it, but I think it turned out really well.
Yeah. It was really fun.
So I want to thank both of you, Matt and Jericho, for joining us on our first little talk of Springpeek. Yeah, Mel, they're only going to be an hour long, not a full 3 hour. I think we would eventually run out of things to talk about if we went longer.
Yeah, I was going to say, like,
We could like
there's
probably
only so much.
like if we have a lot of questions to talk about, but we're also still just getting used to this. Down the line, we might make it a bit longer, maybe an hour and a half ish. Yeah, we'll keep experimenting with it. Maybe next week we'll try to go a little bit longer and see how it is. We'll see how it goes. We got to let it be natural. I'm kind of out of questions I wanted to ask for now. I do have more for lore, but I think because I'm gonna need you here again next time, Jericho, we'll save them for those.
Hell yeah, the Jericho Show.
Yeah, the
For what
Jericho
it's
show.
worth, I could probably talk about lore for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's upsetting we're not going to play next week, but the timing was perfect.
Yeah, it turned out to be
Yeah.
okay because I mean, also Rose has to work, so Callie's busy, Matt's got his thing, Rose has to work, and that's gonna happen. And that's kind of where the whole one shots get involved as well. And now we have these to do, so
Yep.
even though it's not getting to play D&D, we still get to do D&D in a way.
You get to talk about D&D.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing. D&D, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
So, thank you again, both of you, for joining me tonight. Next week, as it was hinted at, we will have Mel, our resident cleric, and Jericho, our resident ferret. Thank you guys all for sticking to it with us tonight, and we'll see you guys next week.